Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and I have a confession to make today. I have kept this secret for a long time. I'm actually Ukrainian. Like I checked my DNA, it really I'm 100% Ukrainian blood. It went on for like 2,000 years. I have Ukrainian blood. It's tracing back for 2,000 years. It's really difficult. So. And Zelensky actually is my half brother. So I'm actually also a Jew, also a Ukrainian, and yeah, Slava Ukraini. Yeah, I actually have no good jokes. I know it's April's Fool. I struggled to really think of a good joke. So anyway, just imagine that I actually made a really good one, and now I kill laughter. Laugh, ha ha ha. Okay, good. So good job. We finished that April's Fool thing, and so let's start off with the frontline changes report. Oh, that's lame, man. That's so cheesy. Okay, let's start off with frontline changes report, and we can start off with Novy, over on the east of Chasiv Yar. So there is some frontline changes according to the Ukrainian mapping Deep State UA. So this is Chasiv Yar, and the Russian forces have captured this tree line around here. This is Novy. So as this you may see this all Canal district or Novoye or Novy in Ukrainian, and the Russian forces taken this tree line, and this is by the Ukrainian mapping. So the Russians are inching closer and closer. Ukrainians probably have this tree line as well as the forest region around here. It's going to take some time to unseat or to eject the Ukrainian forces from this area here, because forests are usually really hard to fight. So as we can see from the Siversk forestry, the fighting takes forever. So we shall see how this goes. That's a mosquito. So it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It was a drone strike. There was a drone strike. So that's all for Novy. Another frontline change is over at the Vodyane region in the Avdiivka Front. This is Avdiivka city. Donetsk city is around here. So this is Pervomaiske and Vodyane. So Vodyane is this very, very long, very, very long city. Let me draw. So it looks like this, like this, then yeah, this is Vodyane, and then it is a happy little millipede. So this millipede is now rumored to be under Russian control, with geolocation of Russian forces attacking and planting a flag on the western part of Vodyane, almost at the very end of it. And based on Russian mapping, this millipede is now under Russian control. Yeah, it really depends on how. I'm not declaring this a capture just yet, because this is under Russian claims. Of course, we do have the geolocations to show that indeed a huge part of this is actually now Russian taken. However, it's not going to be secured because the Ukrainian forces still have huge part of the northern half of Pervomaiske. So without Pervomaiske taken, then Vodyane cannot be secured. So this is what it is. And luckily I was checking the audio and recording. Like I was worried that after making all these jokes that I didn't record. Okay, so good save. And then we have Tonenke. So the arrangement. Further up north, there is a frontline change at Tonenke based on Russian geolocated along this area here, which the Russian forces actually launched an attack in the north western part of Tonenke, and this extends Russian control over this area here as they head in the direction of what is it up there? Umanske. So they are heading towards Umanske in this direction, and they have taken more grounds. So we'll continue to monitor and see how these continue to progress for this front line. The Russians are indeed making gradual progress, on and on. And the last frontline change is over at Novomykhailivka, which is a huge amount of changes in this area here. So first thing first is we cover the central part. Based on this Novomykhailivka, by the way, based on Russian mapping, they have claimed this line and also taken this area here, this southern part, some industrial area. So this I have already noted this for a long time, ever since the geolocation of the Russian forces in these two areas here. As I said, that in some other mapping, it's going to look like this. And so now that Ryba's mapping of Novomykhailivka have came out, is indeed around this line. So we'll continue to monitor. The Ukrainian forces continue to hold the western part of Novomykhailivka. However, this is not the only thing. Based on the geolocation, Russian forces have been geolocated along this southwestern part of Novomykhailivka, over this area here. And with the Russian front line looking something like this, which means that the Russian forces have continued to push west as usual, to continue to put pressure on the Ukrainian forces. Previously, the Russians were heading in the northern part. They were attacking, in this area here in the northern part. Now they are heading in the southern part. So we'll continue to see how this progress. The Russian forces are geolocated in the southwestern part. This area here looks really, suspicious. Not sure what's the strategy right now. Could they be actually, attacking in this direction into the rear and cut off the road just south of Paraskovievka? There is a possibility, and we shall see. How this progress. And I believe this is all the frontline changes report. And going to the strategic and tactical reporting, first thing first, the Russian Defense Ministry reported heavy missile strike again. The previous one was on the 29th of March. So 2 days later, they attack again. This time around, they are targeting energy facilities as well as gas production. And they also mentioned about this defense industry enterprises for manufacture and repair of weapons was disrupted by this missile strike. So they claim the goal of the strike was achieved. I'm not sure how they can confirm that, because you do not necessarily know if you actually hit the target, or you got shot down over the target. So if you look at Ukrainian reporting, they always say that they shot down a lot of stuff. So, maybe they shot down a lot of stuff. Then we have Russian Defense Ministry also reported in yesterday's report that they have destroyed 3 Sukhoi 25 at the Vodyane air base. So Vodyane is this town, this city over here. This city is, this is also the furthest point the Russian forces ever reached. In the southern campaign, in the beginning of the war, the Russian forces reached all the way here, and then they got wiped out, like entirely wiped out, because they were unsupported and they strayed way too far. Don't know what the commander was thinking, but whatever it is, at this airbase around here, I believe. So I just going to report what they said. They said that they have engaged 3 Sukhoi 25 at the Vodyane airfield. So it could mean anything. It can mean that the Sukhoi 25 is flying, but I don't think so. I think they simply attacked the Sukhoi 25 on the ground. We will wait for more information. But I personally think that it's going to be like 3 times 20 Sukhoi 25 destroyed at the airbase. So which is what I wrote. So let's go to the front lines. In the southern front, there is still reports of fighting reported along the bridgeheads or the beachheads in the southern part of the Dnipro River. And the Ukrainian Defense Ministry continued to report this on the 30th and the 31st of March. Russian forces reported that they have attacked Ukrainian forces at Avdiivka, just across the river at Tonenke. So that's about it over in the southern front. Very, very quiet. Over at the Zaporizhzhia Front, there is multiple things happening. So this is the Kayamsky sector, Orikhiv sector, and the Huyapole sector. In case you do not know, Zaporizhzhia city is over here. Over at the Kayamsky sector, Russian forces reportedly attacked Kayamsky as well as Lukove. So this happened, and then over just northeast of Stepove, there's a D-20 Haubitze getting destroyed by counter-artillery fire. So we'll continue to monitor. So this artillery is actually a bit near to the front line. So this probably, you know, for direct support. Then let's zoom out a bit. So at the Orikhiv sector, fighting is still being reported at Robotine. Let's zoom in a bit further. At Robotine, there is still Russian attacks being reported at Robotine itself. There's no details, so you know we can't really tell what exactly is happening around there. At Huyepilsky, there is a Russian artillery strike on Ukrainian forces, confirming Ukrainian presence at Huyepilsky, just off Merne, which the Russians are holding, and claimed to have captured on the 17th of March. And we move on. There's at the Huepole sector, we have fighting being reported at Melanivka. Wait, I need to shut down my Steam. So Melanivka is around here. This is Huepole, and the Russian forces attack Melanivka. This is probably just a probing attack or fire attack. So no, nothing serious. So that's all for the Zaporizhzhia Front. The Velika Novosibirsk sector, this Velika Novosibirsk, the Donetsk Front, the Russian forces continue their attack at Staromayorsky. Ukrainian forces counter-attack at Prione. There is geolocation of Russian airstrike on Ukrainian position at Makharivka, and there is also a geolocation of a failed Russian attack in the south of Uruzhaine over here. So this one did not really change the front line. I will explain a bit more. And Kreminna Caprice also geolocated a Strela 10 anti-aircraft missile system getting hit just off Novopil over here. So at Uruzhaine itself, if you zoom in a bit, you can see that the geolocation is actually just above the tree line, which actually shows that the Russian forces actually have control in the south. They have no control over these tree lines, and I doubt the Ukrainian forces are there as well. And probably Ukrainian forces are in the houses within Uruzhaine itself. And as the Russian forces stormed in, they got attacked by FPV drone, and then they got destroyed. So this was a mad rush style of attack, very similar to the one that we see at Badaichi. The one that the way how it happens is something I criticized before. Basically, is armored personnel carrier type, like a BTR vehicle, and then it just carry infantry and just rush towards a landing point without fire support. And then this time around, there is no Bradleys being deployed at Uruzhaine, so what they got engaged by FPV drones. So that's about it. So we shall continue to monitor. I just don't like this kind of attack, but maybe there's just a lack of resources on the Russian side to conduct very comprehensive combined arms offensive. So moving into the rest of the Donetsk Front, over at the Voleda region, there is fighting reported towards Vodyane. This Vodyane, there's the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported the attack is coming from the east of Vodyane, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, east of Vodyane of the Donetsk region. And then the Russian Defense Ministry also reported that there is fighting at the Donetsk, at Vodyane, near Vodyane. So I'm not sure how to interpret this. Is it the attack coming from the south or coming from the east? Of course, the Ukrainian one was a very specific. They're talking about attack from the east. I'm not sure if there is an attack coming from the south. So we will continue to monitor. There is no intel regarding this region much, because I think the information is very vague. There's a very heavy fog of war around here. So we will continue to wait for more information. Over at the Marinka sector, which is from Krasnohorivka stretching all the way down to Novomykhailivka. This is the Marinka sector. Russian forces continue their attack at Krasnohorivka, at Georgievka, at Bobeda, I believe, and as well as in the Novomykhailivka region. Did I forgot to change the color? Yeah, I forgot to change the color. Yeah, remember I mapped Bobeda. So this is the Russian attack currently in this situation. Over at Novomykhailivka, as mentioned in the Frontline Changes report, the Russian forces continue to attack within the town itself. The attempt to come in the north has been stopped tentatively. So since they cannot break through from the north, as the Ukrainian forces held the line, the Russian forces attacked in the south. So moving southwest of Novomykhailivka. So which means that the Ukrainian forces only have these few tree lines right now to hold to protect this vital road just south of Paraskovivka. Of course, the Ukrainians Ukrainians can use Paraskovyevka to actually resupply and reinforce. So it's not the kind of like a Avdiivka situation where it's one road that dictates everything. So there is still more ways to fight in this area here. But of course, situation in the Novomykhailivka is getting very dire. There is not much left to defend. So the fall of Novomykhailivka may be soon, but of course it purely depends on the Russians, because Russian forces tends to drag things way longer than we expect. So don't have too much hope about Russians capturing this area here very quickly, because there is no reason to rush. If you look towards the rear positions, there is still a lot of settlements to break, and yeah, this bunch of grapes around here is it's going to be very bitter. Don't buy it. So over at Bojeda, there is fighting reported in this area here on the 30th of March, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Not sure which direction, but there is geolocation by Kreminna Front showing that there is some destruction of Ukrainian equipment and forces in the northwestern part of Bojeda. So this could be interpreted as an attack by the Russian forces. So the attack is actually coming towards the southern part of Avdiivka, which the Russians are currently also pushing in this area here. They are also attacking within Avdiivka. So we'll wait and monitor and see how this continue to develop. And Krasnohorivka in the north, nothing much to talk about. There is just reports of fighting around this area here. That's all for the Donetsk Front. At the Avdiivka Front, the Ukrainians are conducting counter-offensive operations against the Russian push, but I think the Russians have the initiative right now. Russians are attacking at Vodyane, Semenivka, over towards Umansky. At let me put it. They have allegedly captured Vodyane. They are attacking at Pervomysky region and Nevelsky. Ukrainian forces counterattack at Pervomysky, counterattack Vodyane, attacking towards Tonenke and Vodyane. So this is the current strategic situation around this front line. So let's cover bit by bit because the southern, I think we need to go into a bit of details. If not, it's a bit confusing. So Nevelsky, nothing much to talk about. Over at Pervomysky, as per mentioned in the frontline changes report, Russian forces captured the head of the millipede. Ukrainian forces are counter-attacking Vodyane, probably to stop this. With Russian forces geolocated here, which means that the Russians are pushing towards Novy, which is over here. Ukrainian forces counter-attack at Pervomysky as well, with the Russian forces continue to put pressure on Pervomysky. So this is, and they probably also hitting south from the north, given the trajectory of where the Russian forces are moving. So the Ukrainians are desperate at this moment, I believe, because Pervomysky looks really vulnerable right now, and because the Russian forces can also hit into the rear of Pervomysky, and this will result in the battle to be focused in the near Novy, in the northernmost part of Pervomysky, and allow the Russian forces to have an easy path through the actual settlement. And so this is getting rather bad for the Ukrainian forces, and there is also geolocation of Ukrainian forces under fire. They are doing rotation and whatnot. So that also happens. So like this. So that's all for this Pervomysky Vodyane situation. We will continue to monitor. Things are looking bad as well for the Ukrainians. I don't know what things looking good for the Ukrainians. Everything looks bad. Over at this Tonenke region, of course mentioned in the frontline changes report, Russian forces have captured more grounds in the northwestern part of Tonenke, heading towards Umansky over here. So that's all for this area here. Nothing much is talked about at Olivka. The fighting is at Semenivka. So Semenivka is over here. As per I mentioned before in the previous frontline changes report, the previous SITREP, Russian forces are hitting Semenivka from the south through Olivka. So because they secured the crossing around here, in the Semenivka region here, the crossing is along this area, this small little causeway. This is not a good crossing area here. This is a death trap. So the Russian forces heading from the south makes a lot more sense. We'll continue to monitor. I think the attack path is too narrow, so it's a bit hard for the Russian forces to make progress towards Semenivka. And a clash at Vodyane continues, with Russian forces continue to push and the Ukrainian forces counterattack in the Vodyane region. And so yes, previously I mentioned about the Russians using drones, the track drones or robotic drones, whatever you want to call them. And the drones were then attacked by Ukrainian flying drones, FPV drones. And so there is a geolocation is actually in Vodyane, as per mentioned, is right here. And these drones didn't travel very far, which means that they are experimenting. They are not pushing them right to the front line yet, which means that these track drones are just there to hold position. And so based on the video footage, which I already published, noisy. So which I published on DPA archive, you can see that there is a drone flying towards the Russian track drone and then just exploding. So I'm not sure it disables the track drone or not, given this level of explosion. But this second drone that was attacked actually come with a much bigger explosion. So this one here, the explosion is way bigger, and the entire track drone just disappeared. Like instantly vaporized. So yeah. So you can actually check out the DPA archive if you are interested. So going back to the Zoom. Okay, so it's here. Like I mentioned, the location of the attack, which is currently a bit of a distance from the front line, shows that this is just an attempt at using the drone to hold position. So because if you use human beings will be wiped out by the FPV drone as well. But you will lose manpower, and then it costs a lot more for the Russian state to actually pay the family, as well as the demoralizing factor on the Russian troops that is in the same unit that have troops being sent as cannon foders to hold lines. I think using the drones to hold the line makes a lot of sense. And then the Ukrainians, so this will happen. This is going to be modern warfare. This is not just the future. The future is now, and the more as we move forward, we're going to see a lot more of this kind of thing. And then drones holding the line makes a lot more sense as cannon fodder than human beings, and we're going to see a lot more of this. And it's going to come back to the Ukrainian side. In the future, they'll have to decide: do they hit manpower, or do they hit this kind of drones that is not alive? Wasting resources on these drones do not reduce the firepower of the Russian side. But at the same time, if you don't take them out, these drones can still move forward and cause problem for your troops. So this is going to be a very difficult decision for commanders coming now and towards the future. The decision to actually hit drones, these track drones, or the robotic army. Let's call them robots. To hit all these robots, or do you want to hit manpower? Go fly your drone further to the rear to find soft targets. So it's going to be so difficult to decide. And I think the decision to use them as a cannon fodder to hold ground is going to be so useful for the Russian way of fighting, because the Russians prefer attritional warfare, prefer artillery warfare. But if you don't hold ground, then it's going to be difficult to move forward. So using robots to hold grounds makes so much sense. It's going to change warfare. I think warfare is already now changed. So this is fascinating stuff. And over in the north of Stepovy, just north near Novomykhailivka, TOS-1A attack. This, I do not know this is how many times I've thought about this. The thermobaric missiles keep attacking the same place, and I'm starting to wonder if they are the same footage. I didn't see the footage. I simply reported on the geolocation. We'll continue to monitor and see how this progress. Over at the New-York Front, things get a lot more busier around this area here. Russians are attacking Alexandropol towards New York, as well as in the area of Mayorsk. Ukrainian forces counterattack in the region of Vodyane. So this is the current situation in the New York Front. Is a bit unusual. I think the Russians' counterattack is just simply to counter the Ukrainian attacks, because the Ukrainians have been probing in this area here, and maybe there is an accumulation of manpower that the Russians want to distract or to reduce in this area here. So that's all from the New York Front. Over at the southern half of the Bakhmut Front, Russian forces attack at Klishchiivka and Avdiivka as well as Kupyansk. There is geolocation of FPV drone attacking Ukrainian infantry fighting vehicle south of Klishchiivka. So warfare really has changed. Like you in the past, you can have an infantry fighting vehicle holding a certain area here, and they were able to protect against a huge radius and cause problems. And any troops that want to move forward will have to really plan out how to attack. They need armor, they need artillery and whatnot, maybe coordinate an airstrike, helicopter attack. But no, now they just use the FPV drone and take out a major vehicle or equipment that is there to hold a position, hold a very strategic position. So warfare has changed, like really has changed. I'm really not sure how to fight this kind of war. So let's hope that there is some real-time strategy game that will appear to let us experience and see how does modern warfare gonna work moving forward. So and in the northern half of the Bakhmut Front, Russian forces are attacking at Vodyane. They are attacking towards Chasiv Yar, probably in the Novy region, as well as Ivaniske. And the fact that the Russian Defense Ministry actually reported fighting at Krasnoye, which is Ivaniske, shows that there are reports of their claims that they have captured Krasnoye, which is over here on the 23rd of March, is absolutely premature. And we shall continue to monitor and see how this goes. And that's all for the Bakhmut Front. At the Siversk Front, there is fighting being reported at Bilohorivka at the Luhansk region. This is usual. And then we have reports of fighting at Verkhem-Okanyamsky, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So that's all. We do not know much more about this area here. So let me zoom out to see if I miss anything. So that's all. For over the Kreminna Front, the usual continues with fighting at Terny region. The two forces clashed at Terny. And so that's all for the Kreminna Front. Nothing at the Sviatove Front. We move into the Kupyansk Front. At the Kupyansk Front, there is just one report of Russian Defense Ministry reporting that the Ukrainians attacked at Sinkivka. Did they attack? Did the Russians attack? No, the Russians did not attack. So only one attack at Sinkivka. Looks like the Kupyansk Front is going to sleep. So moving into the border regions, there is a geolocation of the artillery shelling of Ukrainian forces just off the border at near Nikotivka over here. So there's some shelling of Ukrainian forces hiding in the buildings. That is within Ukrainian territory. And further up north, over in the Sumy region. In the Sumy region, again, the Russian forces reportedly attacked Stara Huta, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So Stara Huta is over here, or Stara Huta. So there is some probing by the Russian forces into this area here, probably taking advantage of the forest region to conduct ambushes. So Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported about this. So that's all for this Sumy region, and that's it. So this is the summary for the day of 766 to 767 for the 30th to 31st of March. In my mapping, I kind of messed up. I accidentally somehow, don't know what I did, deleted the 28th of March or 27th of March. 27th of March mapping. I think it's because I opened two tabs of the mapping and then kind of messed up it. And then caused an override or something. So I lost the mapping. So the only thing left is the SITREP on the video platforms. Anyway, wish you guys a happy Easter. Easter Monday, I would say. And then also happy April Fool's Day. Today is the 1st of April. And it's April. Time flies. And quite depressing. So thank you for watching. Hopefully this month YouTube will treat me better and spread the videos far and wide. And I'll see you guys in the next update.